Today I'm going to attempt the least asked for speedrun in the history of speedrunning, a Crusader Kings III 100 development speedrun. The goal is simple: turn a pathetic peasant-infested county into a wealthy metropolis of opulence and tea. The rules today are that any gameplay mechanics can be used and abused, but I must play in Iron Man mode, meaning no mods, cheats and console commands. This is the developer-approved, perfectly balanced way of playing the game, but naturally, come on, I'm British and a video game exploiter, so you can be sure that I'll be unveiling all of the cheesiest ways to play the game, some of which have never been revealed until today. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the game. We are of course playing as the legendary ELON HUSK. He is a husk of a human being, and of course, according to the game's character creation system, a perfectly normal and acceptable being to exist in this period of history. We used 399 points in the character creator out of the maximum 400 in order to make this person while staying within the Iron Man thresholds. So he's actually an achievable human being. We all could be a mastermind philosopher who's intelligent and a lunatic. Now we're also starting out in Spain, but as part of our speedrun, the city of Toledo is good, but this city down here is even better, and we are going to be stealing it and turning it into a money-making wonderland. But first we start on the 15th of September 1066, and our goal is to have a 100 development county as fast as possible. The fewer years we can achieve this in, the better. Now, it's time to show off, of course, exploit number 1, and exploit number 1 was actually done before I even got into the game. As you see, exploit number 1 is the process of making other custom characters, because the way the game calculates whether your Iron Man custom character is acceptable in the game is if they're the character you select and actually play as going into the game, which means you can actually add characters that are well above the game's allowed character creation limits into the game, and they'll just exist in your universe. For example, we have my potential wife over here that I've created. Allow me to introduce you to Waifu. Waifu is an absolutely giga being. She's 18, she follows our religion, she's a mastermind philosopher, she has so many positive traits and so many glorious inheritable traits that she'll probably live well into the hundreds, and her children will be horrifically overpowered, so naturally we're going to marry her. But next up we also have my council, and you'll notice there's some very special things about my council, as I decided to custom make all of my vassals, and I made them specialize in individual specific things. For example, I have a vassal over here who has 100 martial, and to make sure he doesn't rebel, I've made him trusting, content and patient. In fact, all of my vassals have these lovely abilities as well, meaning they are much less likely to actually rebel against their liege. So despite the fact that we're of different cultures, they're more than happy to have me on the throne. And naturally I've got someone for every task we have. So we have a spy master, we have our steward, and we're also going to have ourselves a lovely theologian. Here they are, bam, they're fantastic. And with this we have a council of entirely 100 statted individuals who hopefully are so content they are never going to rebel against us. Now this already is very useful. For example, we get 50% tax from our lovely amazing steward here. Our theologian dude is going to give us 5 piety per month and has the ability to convert counties at ridiculous speed. Our diplomat is going to be printing prestige out for us, but can also make it so all of my vassals fall in love with me. My steward has the ability to promote so much cultural acceptance that even those of not my culture are going to love me. My spy master is going to make it physically impossible to murder me, and my lovely marshal is going to build the grandest army the world has ever seen. Meanwhile, ELON HUSK here is going to naturally be a bottom feeder who will just simply leech off of others' creations. Next up we need to pick a learning school, and naturally we're going to go for scholarship focus because it gives us plus 15% development, and we're going to do our best to basically pursue ourselves down the line of the scholar, because eventually we can get ourselves the scholar trait, and in doing so we'll get an extra plus 15% development, which is plus 30% development in total, and then we also get another plus 20% from this, but most importantly we get learn on the job, which gives us 20% of all of our counselors' primary skills, which is, you know, that's pretty good. That's basically plus 20 in every stat, and these counselors ain't gonna die. They've all been given amazing bonuses to make sure they last as long as possible. So we need to reach 100 development as fast as possible. Our capital has 17 development. That's okay, but it's not great. So instead we're not going to go for our capital. We're aiming for someone else's capital. We're going to steal the county of Cordoba. This place is fantastic. It has the Great Mosque, and this Great Mosque is going to yeet our development into the skies, but most importantly it's a farmland, it's got 2 cities, and it's going to facilitate some very glorious exploits. So I'm going to wait for my wedding to actually happen, and then we're going to march into Cordoba. But immediately our army is ready to fight thanks to our glorious battle marshal, so we're going to declare war, aim for the county of Cordoba, raise up all of our armies, and just literally march straight on in. But our actual general who is leading our battles, he's an absolute machine. The dude is just just so fast. So we're going to chase down the pathetic enemy army of just 2,000 men. They have no way of winning, no matter the terrain. Just quite simply, we are faster and better. It doesn't even matter that they're in hills. We just have a plus 89 advantage, meaning we get an extra 200% damage. This is just insane. But remember, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is all Iron Man. This is all developer approved. So bam, that's the first battle done, and because of our amazing commander skill, we just captured the enemy dude. So we're just going to immediately end the war and enjoy the fact that we now have Cordoba under our control. Now, Cordoba, we're immediately going to make our capital because it's a great bit of terrain. I love it. But most importantly, we have the Great Mosque. Next up, we're actually also going to convert Cordoba into our own culture, and our culture is not the local culture. The local culture is, of course, Andalusian. We are not Andalusian or Castilian. We are with the Dutch. And now you might be thinking, hang on a second, Spiff, the Dutch don't exist in Spain. And heck, maybe you're a conspiracy theorist and to you the Dutch don't exist at all. I mean, I've never seen them, so they're probably not even real. But anyway, they exist in this fantasy game, in this weird swamp region over here, and we're going to be playing as the Dutch because the Dutch are kind of absolute kings when it comes to development. Number one, they're agrarian, which means they get plus 30% development growth in farmlands. They're bureaucratic, which means they get a further plus 15% development growth. They believe in parachileism or whatever it's pronounced, and this gives you even more development growth. So naturally, being Dutch just generally is great, which is something I'd never actually thought I'd have to say. But anyway, Cordoba is now our lovely capital, and it's actually a pretty decent location. However, it could be better, and by better I mean completely and utterly broken, which is naturally what I need to do with it. Meanwhile, my lovely wife, because she's actually on the council as the High Chiefess, we can have her give us some bonuses. For example, we can just have her turn us into a literal god in one stat. By having her focus on patronage, we suddenly get 75 learning, which is that's pretty good. If we want prestige, we can have her focus on court politics. This gives us a giant plus 54% prestige and also just plus 54 general opinion. Everyone now loves us. But instead, we're going to set her to just assist ruler. It just gives us a flat plus 20 across the board and turns us from being an 18-year-old noodle into what is effectively an 18-year-old god, and we're looking great. Now, many of you might be thinking, what are you even doing in Spain? And the reason is because if you just start in Spain, you can actually pick up a legacy, and one of the legacies is in the metropolitan line, and it is influential cities. Each city grants plus 20% development to its county. Now, that means if you have a county with 2 cities, which guess what we do, it's our capital, that's an extra plus 40% development, which is just actually absurd. It is absolutely crazy. Right, I'm going to also usurp the lovely dukedom of Cordoba, which is going to give us 2 duke titles, meaning all we need to do is save up some money and we can actually become a glorious king. Being a king is great, you get your own little royal court, and who doesn't want one of those bad boys? Oh great, I'm ill. This is very annoying. We could straight up die here just like, you know, 1 year into the run, but luckily for me, I have my wife, and my wife is my glorious physician, and luckily for me, she is literally a god at what she does. So I'm just gonna say, hey, do more than what is necessary. She'll do great because she's excellent, and that means I get reduced disease symptoms, which basically means I feel completely fine. Don't even feel ill. I'm just normal health. Oh great, I'm well again. And I mean, you know, I look in tip-top healthy physical shape. ELON HUSK here has never looked better. I mean, he's a husk of a being, but you know, he's alive at least, and that's all that matters. Anyway, Cordoba is almost fully under our control, and the people here love us because of our glorious martial guidance. There we go, we've achieved maximum control in the city of Cordoba, which is absolutely wonderful. Oh, fantastic. My waifu is pregnant, which is wonderful. But also, I've become a wiseman. Yes, lovely. Right, and we finally control enough land that we can actually create the Kingdom of Andalusia. We've done this really quickly in the game, but hey, it's necessary because becoming a king as soon as possible is great. It means we can generate renown faster, and that is very important indeed. So we'll get all of our lovely house banners up on the wall. We can alter our court grandeur. We're naturally going to be an administrative court. This is great. It means we can build buildings cheaper and faster. But most importantly, if we can achieve a level 7, we get an extra plus 0.2 development a month. Now, in order to achieve that, we're going to have to actually spend money. And, you know, I don't like spending money, but it's okay. For just 3 gold and 20 a month, we can max out everything, and sadly, that's what we have to do. So, bam, we now have the greatest court in the entirety of the world, and Cordoba is now Dutch. Fantastic. This is great. These farmlands are going to be giving us so much extra development. Now, we're getting a whole bunch of modifiers here, but this isn't even the end of all of the modifiers we're going to be getting. Now, with all of these modifiers in place, we're getting an extra 130% development, which is absolutely fantastic. However, we can improve this. Oh yes, we can improve this. So we're going to actually start increasing the development of of this region. The more development we have, the better. The more money we're going to make. And oh look, my child is born and my wife wants to name him ELON after me. You know what? He looks great. A lovely idea. ELON it is. Look, here's my boy. He's an absolute genius. He's everything I wish I could be but more. He's not a lunatic, sad, but you know, he'll do. Have him educated by my wife because she's just objectively better at everything than me. So, wabam. Son, you're great. You're Dutch. Live a great life. Oh, and I have a daughter born. She looks great. I'm just gonna call her Karen. Hopefully she turns out fine. It's, you know, it's a good Dutch name, Karen. She'll be okay. Oh, great. Another child's been born. She's great. She's amazing. The only issue is, she's born by Mr. Fightman here, and Mr. Fightman here does not have a wife, which means he's a fornicator, which is, look, you were meant to not have that situation going on, but that's fine. Is punishment become my religion? Okay, there you go. It'll make you like me more. So my wife has made a concoction here. Apparently, it's just the strongest potion in existence. You know, there's like 90% chance I get a medium health boost for 5 years. So you know what? I'm gonna take it. There was a 0% chance I could die, but amazingly I didn't. It was great, and it did cause me to have a mental breakdown. But I do get to become athletic in the process, and that's extra health for the long run. And sorry, plus 20% development in farmlands. What? Sorry, how does being athletic give me an extra 20% development? Fine, this speedrun is just gonna go even better. This is actually fantastic. Amazing. Oh my goodness. Right, there we go. We are 4 years in and already our capital is at 29 development. This is good progress. Really good progress indeed. I've got a child. There we go. And a new daughter. You can be called Kregel. Wait, Kregler. Yep, Kregler. You are great. Kregler Husk. It's a strong name. Strong name indeed. Right, now I've realized a great idea we could actually do is just make a hybrid culture between Dutch and Andalusian, and this way we'd be able to have our own society, our own glorious culture, where we don't have to listen to Duke Dirk Lorizoen of Holland. Like, that's just the most Dutch individual in the universe. Duke Dirk the Fifth Florizoen. Like, sorry, are you just a Disney villain? Like, what the hell is that name? Right, now I'm going to do what can only be described as a pro gamer move, and it also is going to make no logical sense to someone on the outside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this crop field here because I would like, you know, some more money. So I'm going to naturally get rid of something that makes me money in order to make more money. We're going to build just some military camps right here and get rid of this field. It's a bit crazy that we'd get rid of something that is giving us 0.5 gold a month, but don't worry, there is actual sense to this madness. Because you see, we're actually going to build the farms and fields again. One of the very important rules of Crusader Kings III is you can only have one building of each type in a holding, and that's just the way it's been forever. No one knows why, but those are the rules. I mean, of course we all know why. It's because otherwise the game's balance would be destroyed. Luckily though for me, I love destroying balance, and so naturally we're going to build ourselves a second farm and fields. The way we do it is by building a farms and fields in an empty or taken slot in one of our terrains, then select another building you're happy to get rid of, and get ready to select farms and fields. We have to wait for this farms and fields to finish constructing in just 1 day's time. It happens, and now we can build ourselves another farms and fields, despite the fact that we already have one. And after 4 months, we're going to have ourselves 2 lovely farms and fields, which is going to, of course, make us a lot more money. More money, of course, equaling more power and more success. Right, Cordoba is about to be up to, yep, 33 development, so we're 1/3 of the way through our lovely challenge. It has only been 7 years, so we're actually off to a cracking start. How can I ask my wife to stop having a lover? Like, can I just tell her to just chill for a bit and just stop messing about with my smart man, please? I'm going to try and murder the Dutch man. Hopefully this will fragment his lands so that he owns less Dutch provinces than me. So, bam, we're going to try and kill him. He lives across the world from us, but we are going to murder him. Most importantly, we get our first renown perk, and we're going to go for Metropolitan. Metropolitan is amazing. Plus 20% development in each county that has cities per each city that we have. Meaning, now in Cordoba, we get an extra plus 20% from each of these cities. Look at this. Look at this. Each city gives plus 30% development. Let us just work out for the moment what that modifier is at, because this modifier, it's getting spicy. Okay, currently we are receiving plus 312% to our development growth per month, which that's pretty good. I will take that. That is really, really good actually. So yep, I will keep that bad boy. We are going to do very nicely with. Now actually, I'll try holding court because we might get a fun development event. I could accept him as a vassal, but I'm just going to say I think not. This gives me some court grandeur, which is great. Amazing. Okay, fantastic. We now now get our next perk, which is Learn on the Job. This is plus 20% of our counselor's primary skills are added to our own, which takes us up into becoming a god. We are looking really, really good indeed. Yep, we are becoming a glorious little king. All right, is there anything I can do to invite people into murdering the Dutch dude? Yes, they will. Okay, I'll get his bishop on side. His bishop can help me murder him. One of my courtiers, who appears to just be in his court, can just use a hook, and he will have to come help and murder this individual. We go now. The scheme's looking good. 95% chance of success. We're going to kill the Dutch. When that happens, we might then become the leader of the Dutch peoples. And there we go. We convince the peasants of Amsterdam to rise up against the Duke himself, and we will murder him. Yes, he died. And there we go. We murdered him with the power of mob rule. Okay, now one of his children is in charge of the Dutch lands. They themselves are Dutch. That's fine. She is still the leader of the Dutch peoples, but that's okay because we can just also have her murdered. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm also gonna stop questioning the fact that my daughter doesn't even look like me. I'll just leave it be. It's fine. Oh my goodness, I just got an event fire twice, which has given me 2 free learning perks. It turns out there's just an event, which evidently the developers accidentally left in, where if you go for a night at the theatre and you win, you just get to have even more free traits, which is lovely. I'm now going to effectively turn myself into a god by just becoming whole of body. But most importantly, we're now a scholar, and being a scholar means we get extra development growth, which is another plus 15% over here in Cordoba, meaning Cordoba, even by itself, without our lovely, amazing steward over here, is actually gaining a decent amount of monthly development. Oh, and amazing, we get to actually murder the Duchess. There we go, we're gonna go and do it. 5% chance, and oh my goodness, we failed. A 5% chance. She is now on her guard, but it doesn't matter. If at first you don't succeed, do it again. Do it again. We're going to murder this Duchess one way or another. Every single Dutch person who has the potential to rule over Dutch lands must die. Oh, and my daughter, who is definitely not my daughter, is born. She's just gonna be called Flop. You know, she's a child, but she's a flop. Okay, now waifu has another child on the way, and so I just decided to ask her, is the child mine? And she says, of course it is. So you know, that's all I needed to hear. I believe her. She's died to me in the past. Anyway, we're gonna kill the Duchess. She is gonna get murdered in the woods. There we go. And wabam, she's dead. So wabam, we now have a new leader of the Dutch. They are a child, but most importantly, they are Franconian, which means they're no longer the head of the actual Dutch world because they are not themselves Dutch. The new head of the Dutch world is this weird bishop dude. He controls 3 Dutch territories, so let's just have him murdered. Why not? He'll probably get replaced by some other dude. We're about to gain control of 3 Dutch territories. There we go. We now have 3 Dutch places. This is absolutely fantastic. But most importantly, soon we will become the head of the Dutch world as soon as we murder the current head of the Dutch world. Oh my goodness, we got a new daughter and she is amazing, which means she can't be ours. I'm just gonna call her Kromper. I'm full of like really great child names. Like we've got Elon, and then we've got Karen, and then we've got Kregler, Cecily, Gerulf, not my child, Yagana, Flop, Clementina, and then Kromper. I'm just the best dad the world could ever wish for. And I can turn my wife into my friend. Instead of having an interesting conversation with my wife, I can just friend zone her. Perfect. There we go. Hopefully that'll stop her being so horrible to me. Please, waifu. Anyway, glorious feast was had by all. Oh, and I am the new cultural head of the Dutch. Yes. Oh, this is fantastic. I have 77 learning. I'm the head of the Dutch, and this means we can do some important improvements. Improvement number 1, manneralism. We need to get manneralism done as soon as possible. This unlocks late medieval economic buildings, which for us means we can build ourselves the royal reserves. Someone is tampering with my sculpture growth. Who's this? Someone is tampering with the sculpture that's dedicated to my wife, and it's my wife. God damn it. Waifu, please. Like, I'm just trying to make a sculpture for you. Why are you trying to destroy it? Oh my goodness. Right, Sultana waifu, you're getting arrested. Like, she is just such a handful. She's just straight up an absolute nightmare. But hey, we get the sturdy statue. We can whack this bad boy down. It's an extra bit of renown, and that is honestly fantastic. Anyway, we're up to 36 development now in Cordoba, which is very, very nice. In literally just a handful of months, we're going to be up to 37. Like, we are developing at an absolutely terrible terrifying rate. If we switch over to the development map mode and zoom out, you can see that we have Cordoba, which is probably the most development province in the world. Yeah, I think it is. All right, 37 development in Cordoba, looking great. And naturally, I've discovered the Cromper is not my child. It was always going to be known. Cromper was never mine. He's like half my children aren't my own children. Like, it's fine. Oh, do I want to know whether my son is actually my son? I mean, I can't doubt whether he's my son because he's just such a good character. I can't. He has to be mine. I just need him to. I could, so I can actually embrace celibacy now, but I realize that in doing so, people are going to really start questioning when my wife just suddenly starts having more children. Oh, and we've headed into a new cultural era. We are in the high medieval era now. This is really, really good. So we can pick up windmills and banking and urbanization. Lovely. Most importantly, though, the windmills. We love windmills. Okay, now one of my secondary wives is basically saying that I'm a spineless man and I neglect everything but my studies and I just read alone indoors from dusk till dawn and I need to get my head out of the dusty scrolls and basically just get a life. But naturally, I'm ELON HUSK. I'm a Redditor. I need not lay with you. I have the warm embrace of knowledge. Yes. Gain focused reading. Ah, yes. 5,000 IQ play. Who needs love when you can have books? ELON HUSK, you are such a smart individual. There is just absolutely nothing you can't do. Oh my goodness, one of my wives has done an amazing thing. This is one of the adventures of having multiple wives. They'll come up with the idea of war widows, which basically means I can spend 115 gold. We get nursing salaries, which means we get plus 10% development growth for just 10 years. That's right. That's an extra plus 10% whacked on into this giant mess, which just keeps going up. We're up to 42 development here. It is looking really, really good. We are making a very tasty amount of money from this region. And apparently I'm having a grand old feast with a friend, my wife, who is of course continuously betraying me, but it's okay. We have a reinvigorated friendship and it's apparently giving me a giant health boost. Like, my health is insane. I just can't die. Right, we're up to 44 development in Cordoba, which is lovely. Most importantly, we are working on our way through the technological trees of being Dutch. That's right, we will soon have the ability to build windmills. This is of course every Dutch person's dream, to build a windmill. Alright, and we're finally ready on the 4th of November 1087 to actually adopt collective lands. This is going to take 19 years to actually take effect, but eventually we're going to be able to have an extra plus 20% development in all Dutch provinces. So naturally we're going to start reforming it because, you know, we're just such a glorious cultural icon. Meanwhile, oh, we've got a bit of regalia. This actually sucks. Fine, we have some new regalia. It makes our spouse like us a bit more, but let's be real. The problem with our spouse is not whether she likes us or not. It's a whole bunch of other things going on behind the scenes. Like, this is not my child. Oh god, he's not my son. Oh, and okay, we've run into an incident. Namely, because we're a lunatic, and we're a lunatic for a good reason, because there's a chance we get a really positive event firing, we've decided that cloves are now forbidden. Off they go. This is also going to affect everyone in the court. So, damn it. I'm so sorry, editors. You're going to have a challenge editing this from here on out. But from this point onwards, every adult court here, they've got their sausages out. If we go to the courtroom, it's a real problem. Oh dear, let's just... Oh dear, dear. Oh my goodness. Oh, these events are all going to be messed up. Oh, and amazing. We've actually managed to pick up our innovation of manneralism. This is actually really, really good indeed. This now allows us to focus on the building of windmills, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. We are Dutch. We are going to get windmills up and running. But more importantly, we can upgrade these manor houses in our capital to make them give us plus 2% development growth each. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to build as many of these lovely farms as possible. Right, I've finally reached the stewardship level where I can pick up centralization, which is an extra plus 0.3 development in our capital per month, but that's actually 0.3 after it gets hit by all of the modifiers, which is really, really big, because it means the monthly growth in our capital is up to 12.9 per month. Now, the existing development is also actually negatively affecting us, which is annoying as this will slow us down, but in order to counteract it, I've decided that we're going to start beelining towards urbanization as fast as possible, and in doing so, we'll be able to hopefully knock on the head that very annoying cap of existing development, making it much faster for us to hit our max level. Also, now I can finally build the royal reserves here as well. This is going to give us plus 0.8 gold per month, as well as an extra plus 10% development. Also, lots of the nearby local rulers keep challenging me to chess, but I mean, like, you think you can outthink me? I've read the entire manuals on chess, and naturally I just win because, I mean, come on, like, I'm such a galaxy-brained individual. Do you think you can really stop me? And there we go, the royal forests are built, so that's a further plus 10% added onto our lovely capital here. We'll then also upgrade these manors to get another little plus 2%, and our capital is actually making us a lot of money. It's up to making us 24 gold a month, which is, as you can imagine, pretty darn good. Now, some of my other daughters are definitely a little bit of a problem because, you know, the wives, generally, they've been quite unfaithful. So whether they're actually my daughters is kind of up in the air. But this child is definitely my daughter. I can tell because those are the lips of someone who's definitely a Husk. You are 100% a Husk. Of course you're my daughter. Oh, now the Husk dynasty is known far and wide. We're noteworthy. Amazing. It means people are more likely to, you know, respect the name of the Husk. I mean, hey, we hold the most developed land in the entire world. Look at this. Look at Cordoba. It's great. The rest of the world, untamed wildlands with no development whatsoever. And then there's just Cordoba, the beacon of economic fortitude. The only problem is that we're actually feeding into the local counties and really increasing their development by a very large amount. Now, in some previous versions of the game, there was an exploit to get to 100 development, but it actually wasn't as fast as some people made it out to be. Basically, if you were over here in Bohemia, you could play as a Czech character, and a Czech character has one very special bonus. This industrious thing here, which is whenever you complete a building, you get 25 development growth. So if you build 4 buildings, you get 1 total development. That's kind of okay, but of course really expensive and just not very effective. But some people used it to try and get to 100 development as fast as they could. However, you know, we're not doing that. We're being ever so slightly cheeky with ours. Oh, and one of my wives has died, and apparently I'm happy about this. Yep, she's dead. I love the fact that she's dead. I lost stress. Apparently I really hated her, but hey, that's fine, you know. There's more fish in the sea. Right, now we've managed to get the guilds level 3 up over here in this lovely city. And in fact, I think we can even get up to guilds level 4, which is really good. That's another plus 5% development. So that's what we're going to do. Really want to know what kind of modifiers we're getting up to because it is getting really insane. I'm kind of sad we haven't had the lunatic event fire where we get to build a greenhouse. It's literally one of the strongest buildings in the game. It's a flat plus 1 gold and plus 25% development growth. And it also gives you some extra health, meaning you live longer. Oh my goodness, and now the Crusades have started in 1095. Okay, the Pope is ready for Crusades. Hopefully they don't come over and say hi to us, because I mean, we are ready to bounce off pretty much any crusade in the slightest. But you know, I just prefer not to have to deal with one. I mean, if needs be, I'll come over and kick the Pope out of Rome. He's only a frail little 54-year-old dude who just happens to have a six-pack. I'm sure it'll be easy, an absolute pushover. Barely an inconvenience. Can finally hold court. Lovely, let's hold court. Gesture the first in line to approach. Here we go. Oh yes, we get to spend 500 gold, and potentially that will increase development. The only issue is it's being done by Robert, who famously bonked one of my second wives and is probably the owner of one of my children. And by owner, I mean father, of course. That's just kind of how it works. But hey, Robert, if you want to help me develop lands and speedrun, I don't care who you've been bonking. Speaking of which, here's one of our grandsons, Bonko. There you go. Bonko, not my child soon. Wait, no. Someone took over my role as head of the Dutch? No, he controls 4 Dutch lands. Murder. We must murder this man. How dare you control more Dutch territories than I. And lovely, that map survey has come through and all of our held counties get an extra 50 into their development progress, which is great. That's just, you know, little bit of speed up for Cordoba here. Maybe just a handful of months of development whittled away for 500 gold. That's probably worthwhile. And besides, I paid all of that money to Robert, and remember, he bonked one of my wives, which means I can actually imprison him straight away and then negotiate his release by banishing him and getting all of the money back. Perfectly balanced. He will of course accept this, and then I will just immediately invite him back to my court now that he has no money, and recruit him as my seneschal again. Right, things are going great. We're up to 60 development now in our capital, and the modifiers are definitely stacking up. Okay, I found the fastest way to actually deal with the fact that the Dutch had more lands than me, and so consequently I couldn't be the head of our culture. That was just to actually quite simply raise up my own army over here, and we're just going to go over and steal Holland from the Dutch. And Holland is, you know, it's a fine province, 11 development development. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but by holding it, we will become the undisputed head of the culture. Well, bam, lovely, we've arrived. We've even captured one of the heirs of the region. Oh my goodness, they're just going to keep marching armies into us to be murdered. Come on, we're the glorious fight men. You cannot defeat us. All right, and now is the time for us to gloriously gain peace with the Dutch. Now that we have stolen Holland from them, we are now the king of more Dutch people. Holland is ours. We are now the Dutch head of culture, meaning we are going to progress much further down our lovely technological progression. We are just so smart and unstoppable. Okay, apparently I've messed up the Dutch so much that we now have a splinter Dutch culture called the Galrian. So that's a new culture that's existed. Great. I'm also going to stack up all the modifiers in Cordoba again, just to see where we kind of clock in at. Okay, we're up to plus 285% modifiers on all of our development growth, which is really, really good. But of course, we're going to be able to improve it. And oh, we can hold court again. Please let it be more development. Okay, right. We finally managed to research the glorious bonus of collective lands, which is another plus 20% development in all of our lovely territories. And most importantly, urbanization, which means counties now reach maximum existing development penalties at 55, which effectively granting us a much faster level up time in terms of development. So as you can see, we're doing great. We're gaining 16 monthly development growth per month just from Cordoba, which is very jazzy indeed and going to be very, very profitable for us. But yes, this city is doing great. We're up to 84 development and we are only 43 years into the game. Things are progressing very nicely indeed. I don't think anyone ever believed that in a single lifetime you could get one territory up to maximum development, but hey, yes, I can do it. Welcome back. Now 46 years into our game, we have finally had the lunatic event fire. This event could have fired in the first year of the game and it would have made this run oh so much faster, but alas, no, my luck with the game is about as bad as ELON HUSK's marital life. But for just 750 gold, we can now build the glass monument, an absolutely insane building. Thanks to this, Cordoba is now getting an extra +1 in tax and 25% development growth. So with just another 11 development to go, we should be able to get there in no time at all. And after this great news, we get some more. One of my cheating wives have died. Oh, glorious, glorious day. Whilst holding court, we also get another nice little boost. A little bit of extra development, no matter how small, is always a great idea. It's going really well now. We just have 5 development to go and our capital is producing 33 gold per month in tax, which is absolutely insane. So I've been looking at our modifiers and it is very much broken. With just 3 development to go, our development is getting boosted by 392%. That is just completely absurd. We've created an economical stack of insanity that is turning Cordoba into a utopia. And here we have it, finally 100 development in our capital. I would first of course like to thank my wife for supporting me and my wife's boyfriend for helping develop my capital. It has taken us just 51 years using entirely developer approved features and glitches to create the most developed and richest province possible in the game. And if we were to take a look at the development map mode, we can see that the entire world is a backward shantytown in comparison to ELON HUSK's glorious utopia. Our capital city alone is making 4 times the entire income that the French have. That is just how absurd this strategy is. We just need one single province and with it we could conquer the entire world. So what's next? I feel like I must do what all good Brits should do in order to have a lovely and completed life. We must invade the French! And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the end of my glorious game of Crusader Kings III. This has taken months to make and edit, so of course a massive thank you to each and every one of you leaving lovely and wonderful comments and also just liking the video. It generally does make this channel all the more stronger, so thank you very much. And of course a massive thank you to each and every one of our amazing YouTube members and patrons for funding videos like this, so thank you very much, you majestic sausages. And hey, if you sat there wondering what to watch next, look no further than this video on screen now, hand chosen by myself to be absolutely perfect for you. Anyway, I'll see each and every one of you in the next one, and goodbye for now.